Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
A big day here in Michigan for making your voice heard as early voting for the presidential election begins right now. Everything you need to know to cast your ballot coming up in my Help Me Hank report.
Also, if the killing of Breonna Taylor had happened here, would the charges be the same? Michigan's Attorney General weighs in.
And standing for their sister, the brothers of a murdered mother of 6 are speaking out about her life and about domestic violence. Thanks for joining us here at 6, everyone. Katie Elliott was just 37 years old.
She was found murdered Sunday morning. The person in custody, a man she had been dating. Katie was beloved by her neighbors and, of course, by her family, which includes her brothers, who had a lot to say to Local 4 defender Sean Lay. And Sean, they're hoping something positive can come from a horrific situation in the form of awareness.
Well, put yourself in their shoes right now. They are reeling. They have lost their sister to murder, to domestic violence. And at the same time, they're speaking to us tonight because they point out next month is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. They hope someone watching right now that might be in a dangerous situation, they hope they reach them. They hope that person gets out now. When we talk about Katie, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
She would light up a room as soon as she walked into the room. She always had something smart to say and made everybody laugh, very loving.
4 brothers, John, Robert, Jason, and Brandon Elliott, all wearing a T-shirt in honor of their sweet sister, Katie.
In this family, no one fights alone. Domestic violence awareness.
But a T-shirt with a message for anyone out there right now who is in a domestic violence situation. The brothers didn't know their sister, a mother of 6, was in a potentially dangerous situation with a relatively new boyfriend. This past Sunday morning, police were at Jason's door, telling him his sister had been murdered.
I was speechless. I mean, I still am. You know, it just doesn't seem real.
Katie Elliott was only 37 years old. Her body was found with a gunshot wound to her chest in the backyard of a home she rented on Woodside in Harper Woods. Her boyfriend, 42-year-old Stephen Bratton, is charged with shooting Katie to death during an argument.
Nobody deserves that. I don't care what kind of situation you're in. You know, there's nothing that needs to go that far.
This big family is hurting, but they're finding the strength to stand up, to speak up, and urge anyone who is in danger with their partner to get to safety right now.
Speak up. Get yourself out of that situation.
Tell a family member.
Tell anybody. Tell a family member, tell a neighbor, call the police. You know, a lot of people are blinded by, they think they're in love with somebody or somebody breaks them down to think that that's how they should be treated, and nobody should be treated like that. Nobody should be found murdered in their backyard over an argument.
Tonight, police here in Harper Woods, we've been speaking with them about the incident. They say call 911 if you can. Apparently, Katie had just sent a text to a friend asking if she could come over and stay with her, and that is apparently when she was shot and killed. The brothers say a vigil for Katie tonight, 8 o'clock, right at the house where this awful incident happened. They're also raising money online for burial costs, quite expensive. We put that link on our website, clickondetroit.com. We're in Harper Woods tonight. Sean Lay, Local 4 Defenders.
Yeah, awful is right. All right, Sean.
A former Eastern Michigan University student today became the 3rd person charged with sexual assault in a string of incidents linked to one fraternity house. Thomas Hernandez faced the charges on video today. Grant Herms is live with more on what prosecutors say Hernandez did. Grant.
Jason, Hernandez is the most recent in a series of reported sexual assaults, the most recent of those men to be in court. And today, the detective on that case said he was a risk to his community. In a COVID-safe virtual court appearance today, Thomas Hernandez charged alongside 2 other former Eastern Michigan University students, charged with 4 counts of criminal sexual conduct, 3 of them in the 1st degree. Hernandez is accused alongside 23-year-old Dustin Michael Durbin, who is facing 9 counts of sexual assault, and now suspended Washtenaw County Deputy 24-year-old D'Angelo McWilliams, who is charged with 2 counts of sexual assault and another count of domestic violence for allegedly sexually assaulting his then-girlfriend. The assaults, according to women who came forward, took place between 2015 and 2019 at the Alpha Sigma Phi fraternity house. In court today, the detective on the case describing Hernandez's alleged assaults and said he took pictures with vulgar comments of at least one alleged victim.
While he was sexually assaulting these victims, he was howling like a dog. And then once he was done sexually assaulting the victims, he laughed at them.
Hernandez's attorney is saying today his client plans to fight the accusations.
Hernandez has denied these allegations. When he talked to the Ypsi police, he continues to deny them and plans, in my view, a vigorous defense of these charges.
Hernandez's bond has been set at $50,000. And Hernandez paid that bond this afternoon. He's back in court October 1st. In the meantime, Ypsilanti police are asking any women who say they were also assaulted to come forward. Back to you.
All right, Grant, thanks.
A curfew remains in effect in Louisville, Kentucky after a violent night of protests following the Breonna Taylor decision. 2 police officers are recovering after being shot, responding to a report of gunfire in the protests. A suspect has been arrested and does face charges this afternoon. The protests came after no officer was directly charged in the killing of Breonna Taylor. One officer does face a charge for firing his weapon into neighboring apartments. Now, when Kentucky's Attorney General announced the charge of wanton endangerment, he suggested he wanted to go further but was limited by the laws of his state. So would things be proceeding differently if there was a Michigan case? Larry Spruill live with that, with what leaders and the law have to say about it. Larry?
Well, Devin, everyone seems to be talking about the case of Breonna Taylor, and I had a conversation with Michigan's Attorney General, Dana Nessel, about her reaction to this case and what would she do if it happened here in Michigan.
I know that there are a lot of people that are disappointed with the decision in that case.
That case Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel is talking about is the death of Breonna Taylor. Taylor was killed by police when they executed a search warrant at her apartment.
Use of force by Mattingly and Cosgrove was justified to protect themselves.
Wednesday, Kentucky's Attorney General Daniel Cameron announced that a grand jury indicted only 1 of 3 officers involved on first-degree wanton endangerment charges. That charge applies to the risk put on Taylor's neighbors, but does not hold the officer responsible for Taylor's death.
Well, I wasn't entirely surprised by it, since I think that is what the AG had been signaling for quite some time.
It's outrageous. I understand everyone's anger.
Civil rights attorney Maurice Davis does not agree with the decision.
They decided that the walls of the apartment mattered and Breonna Taylor's life did not matter.
Attorney General Nessel says she has not had a chance to look at all the information and facts in this case, but is concerned on the timing of the decision. But she had this to say to the people of Michigan.
That I hope people in the state of Michigan know and are aware. You know, we have worked very, very hard to put together a public integrity division in our office that does virtually nothing but evaluate the acts of police officers, that a police officer is not going to be treated any differently than any other resident or citizen of our state.
And Nessel also tells me she believes in being open and honest with the public. She says if her office decides not to charge a police officer, all of that information will be available on her office's website. We're live in downtown Detroit tonight. Larry Spruill, Local 4.
Now, Larry, I am curious if Michigan has any sort of equivalent law to the Kentucky one that the officer is charged under.
Yeah, so Nessel says they have a similar law, Devin, and that is called the reckless discharge of a firearm. She tells me that that is a misdemeanor. Devin?
All right, Larry.
In a Local 4 News update, a settlement has been reached between former figure skater Alex Schmidt and Onyx Ice Arena. Schmidt filed a lawsuit last year alleging U.S. figure skating coach Richard Callahan sexually abused him for 2 years. He says the abuse began in 1999 when he was just 14 years old. Schmidt trained with Callahan at the Onyx Ice Arena in Rochester, where he says the abuse allegedly happened. Callahan was banned for life by the U.S. Center for Safe Sport, a watchdog for U.S. Olympic sports organizations. Callahan denies the allegations, and Onyx does not admit any wrongdoing. Last month, the Senate passed a bill that aims to put more responsibility on the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic committees to monitor abuse in amateur sports. A big day in Michigan as we count down to the November general election. Today you can start voting, and today clerks will begin to mail out absentee ballots.
And with a record number of people expected to vote this fall, might be a good idea to do it early. Here's our consumer investigator Hank Winchester with what's being done to make sure your vote counts.
It's September 24th, and today I voted in the November general election. I was in and out of City Hall within less than 5 minutes. Early voting now underway here in our state, and I want to show you everything you need to do to make sure your voice is heard. We're 40 days away from the November election, but today you can vote.
Today is the first day that you can go into a clerk's office and request your ballot and vote in person.
Beginning today, you have the option to either enter your local clerk's office and vote. In fact, I did that today. It was easy. All you need to do is make sure you're registered, bring your ID, you vote, and you're done.
Here it is. We are now ready to early vote. That is that.
Today, Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson in Detroit teaming with the ACLU to get the word out. Vote now, avoid those long lines in November. Just get it done.
Also starting today, vote early in person at their clerk's office, requesting a ballot and returning a ballot and having voted early right then and there.
More than 2.5 million Michiganders expected to vote absentee, and if you requested an absentee ballot, know that they'll likely arrive in the mail soon.
That voters have options this year, and it's incumbent now upon all of us to make sure they know about those options. And we will be doing that work in earnest with partners all around the state for the next 40 days.
And if you do receive an absentee ballot, you do have options. You can throw it back in the mail after you have voted, or you can bring it to a drop box. Many communities setting these up to make it much easier for voters to return their ballot to City Hall. We're here in Royal Oak. Hank Winchester, help me, Hank.
Yeah, right, Hank. And if you have any questions or concerns about the voting process, Hank is here to help. Make your vote count. Reach out to Help Me Hank by phone, email, or on social media. Some big changes ahead for the big Thanksgiving tradition here in Detroit.
Today, the parade company announced America's Thanksgiving Parade, presented by Gardner White, will be a live, televised only event. That means no spectators on Woodward this year. The theme is We Are One Together, honoring frontline workers. The turkey trot, by the way, will be a virtual race, and the Hobnoble Gobble has been canceled. You will be able to watch the parade right here on Local 4 with Kim and with you, Devin, and I'm sure you guys will do your best to make it seem like nothing has changed.
Well, you know, unusual the way we went through the fireworks this year, and we'll find a new way to celebrate this one as well and celebrate a great holiday tradition.
Absolutely.
Well, remember the big controversy over being asked to lower our thermostats in early 2019, all because of this fire, and we are now learning who will have to pay for it. Consumers Energy or the customers.
And here's Ben.
Jason and Devin, 70s after sunset continues here as we are well above average this week. That changes dramatically. In fact, no 70s next week at all. We'll look at those numbers next.
All right, Ben, also Canada was doing just great against COVID. Well, now a troubling trend has their government essentially canceling something big, and that's next.